Tracy Savage is out there for us, and as I understand it, Tracy has been with some of the people involved in the search and rescue efforts. And Tracy, at this point, I don't know if that means you were out on a boat. Are you doing it from the shore? Tell us where you were.
Well, Paul, I just got off a 55-foot private fishing boat, and I was out there basically at the point where the jet went into the water, and we were surrounded by the search and rescue boats out there. And I have to tell you, those boats out there, those people out there are taking a beating. The waves, the swells are 10 to 12 feet. It's just gigantic. It's really, really rough. It's hard for those people out there, the work that they are doing. It's extremely cold, but it is also just very rough. The waves are really unbelievable coming up over the top of the boat. Let's take a look at some video that we shot from the fishing vessel that I was on, a private fishing vessel. And we saw about a handful of Coast Guard boats out there and at least a dozen commercial fishing boats. And those boats out there are not that large. I was on a 55-foot yacht, but those fishing boats are smaller, and they were just being thrown all over as they search for the debris and whatever else they can find there. We got the coordinates where the actual plane went in, and we went right to that location, and we were surrounded by the boats, by the people out there that were looking for debris. And I have to tell you that at this time, we just got back about 10 minutes ago. It took about 45 minutes to get back, but at that location, there really is not much to see in the water. In fact, we saw a couple of boats picking up a little bit of debris, but pretty much everything that was at the surface earlier today, this afternoon, that we saw has either been gathered up or has since sunk, because it's really not much to see out there. So as I said, that debris field not really there anymore. We do know that this is a search and rescue effort. However, we can tell you that the recovery effort is also going on. We overheard on the radios that the Coast Guard has some folks from the Navy who brought along a special instrument that will help them locate the black boxes. And those folks from the Navy were asking to find out exactly where the plane had gone in, where the plane had nosedived into the water. And again, you're looking at the video there. Right there is some of those boats, the commercial fishing boats that are helping out. And it's kind of hard to tell, but you can see how large the waves are as the boats are rocking up and down. You can't really keep your boat still. You have to keep moving, or the waves will just toss you all over the place. Yes.
There's an excellent book called In the Blink of an Eye, and it's about the crash of the TWA plane off Long Island in 1996. And the beginning of that book, they talk about a search and rescue effort in high seas where civilian boats were joining government and military boats in looking for survivors and then for bodies, and how emotional it was for the people that were out there. What did you see and what did you feel on that boat you were on?
Oh, Paul, I will tell you, the crew members that were on the same boat that I was on, and me as well, it was eerie. It was just an eerie feeling to be out there, to be in the location where that plane went in, and to know that so many people lost their lives right there. It kind of, it was unsettling. It truly was. You didn't really even want to look into the water. You didn't want to look around for fear of what you might see. You're looking at some debris on the back of a vessel right there. It was a kind of a creepy feeling, Paul.
Tracy, most of the debris that we see are extremely small items when you consider the size of a plane like this. Can you describe what you saw in terms of, pieces of debris here?
Well, again, I was right at the exact spot, and there was literally nothing there. Just got back about 15 minutes ago. It took us 45 minutes to get here, so about an hour ago was when I was there, and looking all over, there was nothing left. Now, looking on some of the vessels. Were
you there after dark, or was it?
Oh yeah.
Was it light when you got there?
No, it was after dark when we got out there, and it was definitely dark. And by the time we got out there was nothing to see. We were there from probably about 10:30 to about 11:15, and there was nothing at that point. Some of the boats around us had some debris in the back, but those were very small pieces.
You wonder, Tracy, you talk about the lack of debris, and very little has been found so far, and very little has been seen. If the airplane from 17,000 feet did a nosedive right into that water, A, Why didn't it break up, and why isn't there more on the surface? Or B, if it hit the water at that speed, you would think that we would see more by this time, would you not?
Well, you know, it's interesting. We were discussing that on the boat, and there isn't a whole lot that floats on a jet except for life preservers and maybe seat cushions.
Good
and
point.
This happened at 3:45, and so 6, 7, 8 hours later, most of that stuff, most of the debris has since sunk. And the water is extremely deep there too. That's another point. We may never get all the pieces because it's, well, when we got there, the area that we were was 700 feet deep, and so a lot of this stuff is way, way down on the ocean's floor.
Well, Tracy, the ranger who first spotted this, and I believe called it in, initially said that the plane was inverted on the surface of the water, and then at last report, when he was interviewed, said there were no reports of explosions or fire, that he just saw it coming in nose first. Still, if the water hit, I mean, if the plane hit the water with that kind of force, you would think there'd be some large pieces in the area as quickly as the Coast Guard showed up on the scene.
Right, right.
You would think so, but again, 6 hours later, what they weren't able to scoop up has since, I'm sure, you know, sunk to the bottom.
Well, by the way, if there were any unsettling shots in this video that we are showing you, this is pretty much unedited stuff that has come in, and you know, that's the nature of the story that we're covering. But if there are, we apologize for that. Tracy.
Paul, I was going to say, you have to give the folks out there that are doing this, the search and rescue boats out there, a lot of credit.
Oh, absolutely.
It was all I could do to hang on. Truly, truly. I'd taken a couple of Dramamine, and I was just, and I don't rock easy, but
hey, you're tough, kid. You know,
well,
I mean, that must have really been rough out there.
But I really feel for the people. Not only is it a difficult emotional task, what you're looking for, it's eerie, but also just terrible conditions, rocking around and waves splashing up over the bow of the boat, and just hanging on, making sure that you don't go over the edge. I mean, the folks who are trying to reel in some of these pieces, it's dangerous for them if they're not hanging on tight or strapped in.
Tracy, most of the boats staying out there overnight. We heard the Coast Guard say they're not pulling their people, that they'll stay there overnight, but the same thing with some of the commercial fishing vessels and the utility vessels?
You know, Colleen, it did not look like they were going anywhere. Those folks were patrolling in a pattern. They all appeared to be in the same general area, but it didn't look like they were coming back. Certainly when we came back, there were no boats leaving. When we got out there at 10:30, and when we left at 11:15, the same amount of boats were there.
All right, Tracy, thank you for your good work. Please stand by. We're going to go to our Captain Bob Petty now, who is a tired Captain Bob Petty, who's been up there since 3:30, 4 o'clock this afternoon when this whole thing started. Bob, from your vantage point, one more time, you wanted to impart that new information to you.
All right, we have been talking with Tracy Savage as well. She's been out on one of those search and rescue vessels, and she's standing by live with more. Tracy?
Well, Colleen, you know, we've talked all day about the fact that it is a grim task to recover these bodies, and I can tell you, grim is exactly the right word. I just got off a 55-foot private fishing yacht, and as we got closer to the scene, closer to the actual debris field and where that jet went down, folks aboard my ship, the fishing boat that I was on, really we all got silent, just knowing where we were going, where we were heading, and it was a very, very eerie feeling heading out into that location. Once we got there, we just heard from Fritz about the weather conditions, partly cloudy skies. Well, I can tell you right over the debris field, very clear skies, and that really is a good thing because adds, you know, bright light to the scene, as much light as possible in the middle of the night. But the swells were unbelievable. Fritz reported 9 to 11 feet, and it's definitely 11 feet. A lot of the fishing boats, the commercial fishing boats that are out there helping, were really taking a beating, and you got to give them a lot of credit for being out there hour after hour, helping the Coast Guard recover the debris and the bodies. Back to you.
Tracy, thanks a lot. We're going to go back now. Thanks, Tracy. We appreciate it.